Kids, welcome back to the show. It's great to see you all here. I hope you were with your parents around the TV enjoying tonight's program as we talk about
family-friendly
firearms. So you got to learn about it at some point, you know. So
we'll also teach you how to curse, kids.
Yeah, gather around the TV as we talk about the Bul Armory 20. You know, I guess they would consider I don't know, high capacity 1911, 2011, double stack wide body 1911. Call it whatever the fuck you want. It's a double stack 1911. It's with a lot of bullets in it. That's what it is.
And what differentiates that from a 1911 versus 2011, Jake?
1911 is single stack. A 2011 technically is owned by Staccato, aka STI back in the day, but that is a proprietary thing, which is why you will see them called wide body 2011s, double stack 1911s, high capacity 1911s, because they can't actually say 2011.
Cool.
That's
Same
how
with the frame
system
too,
works.
right? Modular frame has something to do with it a little bit.
Yep, exactly. And we'll get into it on this. This is the return of Bul Armory, technically. But before we get into it, thanks to Peace of Mind Guns.
Yeah, great guys over there. We really appreciate really the whole outfit they got over there, right?
Yeah.
So between not only Gucci guns and Gucci gear, they're just good people that really take care of their customers and really put customer service before
excellent customer service.
Kind of anything. And you can go on their site and see reviews. It's ranting and raving about how the customer service is.
Yeah.
So.
And they've got LMT. They got, here's what's cool about it. A lot of stuff. We'll move on. I won't make this long because I know you guys will just fast forward. But they got a lot of stuff that's hard to get. Noveski, LMT. CGS, Langdon, B&T. Like you go down the list and you're like, man, you carry some hitter products here.
Yeah.
Like you carry some hitter products.
I mean, especially like with Q. I mean, he's got the whole lineup,
like
everything.
Yeah, God knows how much.
It's impressive,
stuff from Q.
man.
You know, so anyway, there's a code there. You guys can save 5% for the month of January. That would be New Year 1911. Festive, kind of, for a New Year oriented resolution theme there. So anyway, New Year 1911 saves you 5% off the whole shop. You guys can check that out. Let's get on with it. We're in a weird location today where you hear things.
Yeah, moving around. It's like the hills have eyes,
or
right?
Rocks fall. We're not quite sure what's going on. So let's go through this. So who is Bul Armory? Because you, prior to today, I don't think it ever shot a Bul Armory.
Correct.
I don't think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because like I said, this is the return of Bul Armory. So it's been about 2 years since Bul Armory's been on the channel, and I don't think you were here for any of those videos. That's when it was still like you were here some, but not all the time.
I was doing guest spots.
Yeah, right. Guest,
now I'm a part of the whole band.
Permanent guest spots now.
Yep.
So here's the deal. Bul Armory is an Israeli company, right? So they are based in Israel.
Which immediately people will just buy for that fact.
I guess. I don't know. Did it? Yeah.
Well, like, yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, cool. I don't know. Hey, I stay out of things. I don't know how everything works here, guys. You know, we shoot the guns, we do the stunts, we read our lines. You know, I got my lines here, and that's what I'm going to read to you. So they are a manufacturer of 1911s and 2011s. They do a lot of their markets inside of the competition world. Okay, so they do a lot of kind of like open guns with the big comps and, you know, red dots and shit like that. Okay. But they've got a line of guns that would be more in the, I'm going to call it the tactical realm, right? More of the like just all-purpose. Hey, you're not running competitions. You need a 1911
duty
or a
gun.
2011. Yeah, duty-oriented gun, stuff like that, right? Which is really what we've got here. My relationship with them, again, it's been about 2 years since I talked to them, since the last review that we did. And they hit us up a few months ago and said, hey, we've got the Tack Commander, and we've made some improvements to it. We actually reviewed this gun about 2 years ago, and this is kind of like the latest gen.
Oh, cool.
This is actually almost like an updated review in a sense.
Cool.
And so anyway, they sent the gun out for the review. That does not skew my opinion on the gun. That just means that, hey, cool, like, you know, it's my gun, you know? There we go. Cool. Rock and roll. So this is the, you hang on that bad boy for a second.
Damn, I was hoping you would go much
He thought
longer.
I wasn't going to pass it off. No. I'm going to pass it off. I'm going to pass it off. Here's what we got. So this is the SAS2 Tac. You'll see 4 1/4 or Commander, AKA it's a Commander length gun. Like I said, we reviewed the previous generation of the gun, and what's really cool to see, and it's something that I look for and love in a company, is are they open to feedback, and do they do anything with feedback? And this is a case of, with this gun, I'm not saying that Bul Armory made some changes to the gun based on what was said in our video. My God, they certainly should not take anything that we say with a grain of salt. But some of the things that were highlighted in that video have actually been cleaned up now, which is actually kind of cool to see. So this is like, personally, kind of a fun review because it's like, wow, some of the stuff that I wanted in the first gen are here now.
They should just call it the Tac Jake.
Yeah.
Jake Tac.
It'd be wonderful. Yeah, Jake Tac. I like that.
J Tac.
Yeah, J Tac. There you go. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. So here's the fundamental. So it's Commander, aka 4.25, versus a government length, which is 5-inch, or officer, which is even smaller. Price on these, and I think it'll be definitely a point that we're going to want to discuss a bit, is $1,890.
Fair price.
And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I think that that's a very good price for what you're getting here. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, this really starts to have a place, especially when you take into consideration the price of this, okay? But we will break it down. First thing I typically do if I get a 1911 or 2011, as someone who this is like my pistol, like this is what I love, right, is this platform. I check fit and finish. That's almost the first thing I do when I get a gun like this. You start kind of
tinkering,
yeah, I was
tweaking.
I was gonna say pull and tug on it, but
you pulling and tugging on it, and
and you just see what happens. You know, you just and
hopefully nothing hits you in the face.
Yeah,
right?
Which if you do it long enough, it's an almost guarantee.
Sorry, mom and dad.
To our parents, that occasionally or unfortunately watch this show.
Which, hey, sidebar, a viewer ran into your dad the other day.
Hilarious.
His dad was wearing a 1911 Syndicate hat, which is awesome. Thanks, Papa Dwyer.
Yeah.
And a viewer was like, hey, send us a picture. Kind of cool.
At a pawn shop.
I wasn't going to say where it was.
But hilarious. And I was, you know, that's got to be a funny interaction. I'd
Anyways.
love to, but anyway, the fit and fit. So this is a production gun. This is not like a, you know, completely built, hand fit gun. Like this is a production level gun. And it's like, hot damn, there's a fantastic fit and finish on this gun. I mean,
there ain't
it really
no wiggle.
is. There's no wiggle on that gun.
There's no jiggle or wiggle.
It's a very tight fit gun. And I'm just like, hey, very good job on that. I would, to be perfectly honest, not expect that level of fitment on a gun at that price point. And
a production level gun at that price point.
Yeah, and I asked them because there's one thing that we'll talk about that I had to send the gun back for, and you know, they just said, hey, just so you know, that gun was just pulled from the production line. Like that gun was not cherry picked for you or anything like that. Where it's like, hey, gunsmith, like you know, it's like, hey, this just came off the production line. Like that's how we do reviews, which I appreciate that. The finish is improved over the Gen 1, so this is now a black PVD. Which is going to be, it's simply going to hold up better to Kydex, but also weather. Because one of the things with the first gen was it did not do great in water. Mine got rained on one day, and you know, it did show some wear for that. The black PVD is going to hold up better, which I'm a fan of. So go through the frame. So it is a stainless frame. It's railed. There is a functional grip safety. Okay, so which is sometimes a point of contention inside of the 1911, 2011 world. Like, hey, should they just be pins? Should you put the Ranger band around it? You know, Joe Bruiser had a funny post on it yesterday. He was like, he posted a bunch of photos of his Bruiser Industries. We've run a drill from him, but he had a photo of a bunch of his 1911s and 2011s. He's like, you notice how none of them have like pinned or bands on them? He's like, learn how to grip a pistol.
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, that's kind of funny. Also, shots fired. I love it. You know, it's just
also, like, at the end of the day, I don't care.
I don't care that much. To me, it's never been an issue.
Locks don't have grip safeties. I mean,
I don't really care. If a 2011 came to me with a pin grip safety, cool. If it comes with a functional one, cool. I don't really care that much.
On my Staccato, I put a Ranger band around it just to, on my own, see if there is any difference.
Sure.
And there's absolutely none. So just do whatever you want, guys. And if someone tells you not to, tell them to kick rocks.
Yeah, whatever makes you happy.
Yep.
So we'll talk about on the frame the one issue that I have, which is why the gun had to go back. So when it came, it comes with an ambi safety. Which is great because there's a lot of guns where that is an optional upgrade. So the ambi safety originally was too loose, and what I ran into was after 2 to 3 rounds, whether it was the recoil or the meat of my hand hitting it ever so slightly, it was loose enough that it would nudge on the thumb safety.
Okay.
Right, so I'd get a dead trigger after like 2-3 rounds.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a problem. Like I can't have a trigger that goes dead after, you know, what if I have to shoot 10 rounds, right?
Why don't you want to throw your thumb on the safety to prevent that?
It's just, so I've caused more malfunctions by riding hands close to slides because of the pressure that I'm putting in.
Okay.
So I take my thumb out of the equation now.
Cool.
Like I put that thing off to the side, right? It's just how I shoot now. But so anyway, I had to send it back to get the thumb safety cleaned up. Ironically, now it's a tad bit tight for my taste. It's okay. My side's a little tighter than the lefty, or I guess the right-handed side.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's just the design of ambi safeties. It's like they're meant to be for right-handed. The lefty, it's like, hey, you get what you get, okay? Like, it's ambi, it's gonna be fine. It's made for someone that's not
I'd
you.
argue this with you, but you would be like, you don't know anything.
Well, you're gonna talk about metal and how metal wears, and I know what you're gonna do.
Which in the comment section, people have said I was right on that. So,
Are you a metallurgist?
so they're in the comments, so they must know everything.
Who works with metal in the comments?
It's not, it's just common sense that like the burrs would wear down over time.
Well, I will tell you this. It has loosened up a little since I got it back from the safety job. So, like, look, is it a problem? No. With gloves where you have a little less dexterity, it can be a little tight. Like, I'm almost lingering on this too much. It's really not a big deal. It's fine now. It's just, you know, it was originally a little too loose, a little too tight now. Like, I'm nitpicking here. But it's like, hey, you get, you know, I try to give you guys a fair shake in the review. The grip module itself. So this was one of my criticisms. I actually, it was weird. I went back and watched the original video of this because when I was talking to their, you know, rep at Bul Armory, he was like, do you remember saying that the grip module felt cheap? And I was like, I don't remember saying that.
But also, that is something I would say.
It does sound like something that I would say, though. And he's like, yes, so we cleaned it up and it's a lot better now. And I agree. Really good grip module now.
Great texture.
They added a bunch of texture.
You got to do the belly test, right?
Yeah, not too bad. You can get away with
It's
it.
doable.
It's not a carry gun for me. It's too big for a carry gun for my personal taste. You could carry a size. Well, you carried your Staccato that size.
For a long time, dude.
Yeah, right? And the belly fur, you know, it does fun.
Yeah.
So the Gen 2 is way better. I actually quite like the texture. They did something I found a little interesting. I don't really feel one way or another about it. They actually left a little extra material on the trigger guard underneath. That way, if you wanted to stipple it or something, they basically left you enough material
Right here.
so that you've got a little extra to play with.
Cool.
If you wanted to make that double undercut a little deeper or stipple it or something like that. So I was like, okay, I can get on board with that. Basically, you guys built in a margin for error for someone if they wanted to modify that a little bit without warping their, you know, without warping their grip module. Minimalistic magwell that is, for me, like the size magwells that I like. I don't need the giant funnels. I need something ever so slight just to give me that little bit of like, speed it up, fella. You know?
I would take that off just because the meaty portion of both my palms hits the screw.
Okay.
And it's highly uncomfortable.
Okay.
So, and I noticed it shooting it.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
yeah. Fair criticism. For me, not an issue. You're obviously like, what do you like, 420, 430?
Dude, I've dropped weight. I'm at like 410 right now.
Okay, so right, so big guy, his hands alone are like 60 pounds apiece. So that makes sense. That makes sense. You would want to take that off. The mags. So this is one thing that I always kind of battle a little bit on the Bul Armory guns. So it comes with 226 millimeter mags. Those are 19 rounds a piece. So fantastic stock capacity. I mean, 19 rounds is your like minimum capacity on these things, which is fantastic.
Pretty good.
I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, California, that's like 2 mags, you know. The OEM mags from Bul are $55 a piece, which I'm fine with. I think it's actually a great price point on a good mag. And the mags really are, they're very reliable. I've never had an issue with any of their mags. They actually make very good mags.
Cool.
The only challenge is their mags are not standard pattern 2011 mags, if you will. So it's like, if you get a Bul gun, you are gonna have to either run Bul mags or MBX mags,
And you said,
which if you're running them as like their open guns and stuff, at that point I probably would run MBX mags because it's like you're competing and you probably want those $130 mags. Or I guess Metgar now makes
So 3 different
compatible mags. So you got like 3 different options. But just know, hey, if you're if you have a Bul and you get a Staccato or vice versa, those mags are not going to be compatible with each other. Is it a big deal? I don't think so. I think it's something to take into consideration.
it's the same as someone who owns like 5 polymer guns.
Yeah.
That all have different mags.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I guess the argument, again, price, yes, people are going to be yelling at me for that, but go with me, guys.
Yeah, and then so on the trigger's about 3.5 pounds. It's nice. It's in the sweet spot, and you will notice if you look at it, it's got a really cool, neat design feature. So if you look at the actual trigger shoe, you'll see how it is. Basically, you can take out the trigger shoe without having to refit a trigger.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay.
like you'll see like little lines in there where you go. So it's literally like a Lego piece.
So you could get a new front face of the trigger and just swap
So
it
you
out.
could take that trigger shoe out to put in a flat trigger.
Oh.
But it's the actual same trigger. I just changed out the shoe itself. Like you'll see the little like grooves and everything where essentially it just notches in.
That's cool.
Like a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. I've got one other 2011 that's got a similar feature to that, and,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, that's pretty neat.
I was gonna say I've seen this on your other 2011.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Cool.
Guys, just real quick, if you're looking for ways to support the channel, there's a few different ways that you can do that. We are actually a real estate company for those that you don't know that. Some of you do. We would love it if you used us when you actually need real estate needs. You can go to 1911syndicate.com, check that out. The Patreon these days is lit as shit.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying about it.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
We're actually going to be doing a couple private classes next year based in Utah where like people, will fly in and, we do a couple days of training and we hang out at night and do
From
social
reputable
shit.
trainers.
Yeah, not from us. You definitely don't want to learn shit from, we don't even have anything to teach you. But that's going to be a great time next year. Then we've got all kinds of cool perks and incentives and merch and all kinds of cool stuff that's going on. So you go check out Patreon, website. It's all on there. Now, let's get back to the Bul Armory here. So let's move up to the slide. So it does have, I got, a bull barrel. Shocker, the Bul Armory has bull barrel. So it's got that going for it. I like bull barrels just because, hey, look, the takedown process is way more simple. And it's just clean, and I just
Aesthetically,
like it.
they look good.
Yeah, adds a little weight too.
Lock up is nice.
Yeah. The serrations were very good. They're kind of right in that. Let me ask you this. What was the last time you felt serrations on a pistol where you're like, these serrations suck? Aren't they always fine?
I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I guess because other like tabletop reviews, they always talk about that. We feel a little obligated to. And the one time we don't mention serrations, someone's going to be like, what do the serrations feel like? So, like, guys,
they're fine.
They feel like serrations.
Yeah, they're fine. Yeah,
Move
they're
on.
Perfectly fine.
Moving on.
Yeah, I like them. Great. There's some weight reduction cuts on the slide. I thought this was actually kind of neat. So basically, the weight reduced from the slide is meant to balance out the weight that the red dot adds. So essentially, your overall weight still stays the same. Does
Cool.
that really matter? Not really. I don't even really care. I just found like, okay, cool. I don't know. Interesting note there. Talk a little bit about the sort of red dot system. And so the gun used to be a little bit cheaper. I think it was closer to like maybe $1,400 or something like that. But it did not come red dot cut. Now it comes red dot cut, which to me, especially in 2011, which are like race guns, just make your gun red dot cut.
And in the year 2022,
yeah,
just make your gun
please
red
make
dot
a red dot cut
guys.
and just have it come with a plate if you don't want to run the red dot. Like, it's that straightforward.
Yep.
And this is exactly what that is. It does come with irons and a plate, but it will basically come with all the shit that you need pre-cut and everything
Cool.
to throw on a red dot. That is RMR cut. No shockers there. It does have suppressor height sights. They don't look goofy, fortunately, but
No, very good
they
sights,
are
actually.
tall. They are technically tall sights, but
Yeah.
you don't feel like they're tall sights when you look at the gun.
Lower 1/4 of the window, I'd say.
Yeah.
So,
so
sights,
you can index them with a dot on. I'm not running an RMR, I'm running a Holosun 507, the primary arms one with the little chevron, which I continue to be a fan of. The rear sight is a Glock dovetail. I thought,
Oh,
hey,
perfect.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, good
Good job,
work on
guys.
that, right?
Yeah.
That way, if I've got a preference or something, hey, if you want, yeah,
Sure.
you could swap that out. The mounting system, I would say, is not my favorite. Just the plate that it comes with, that you have to then basically you mount a plate to the gun and then your dot to the
plate.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, the slide itself is not milled for the dot. The slide is milled to take their plate. Plate then takes the dot,
yeah.
right?
Which is how, like, a lot of companies do that.
It is, and there's nothing wrong with it. I have no gripe about it. I would just say, like, I've seen better systems. It's fine. It's functional. I've had no issues with it. I just say I've seen systems I like better. But again, I'd say this: I've seen systems I like better on guns that are like $5,000.
Well, yeah, and so I was going to say, I bet to get better systems, price goes up, yada, 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 yada,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So, so let's do this. How does a gun really shoot and sort of stack up against the competition? So I'm going to come back to this. The guns, let's just call it $1,900, and I think that's a damn good price on that gun.
Plenty
Okay.
fair, and I'll tell you right now, and I don't know if this is something you're going to say in comparison-wise, it shoots just as good, if not the exact same as a staccato.
It shoots pretty much identical.
And I love my staccato. I'm
Yeah.
not dogging that at all. Guys, I loved my staccato P. Still love it. Don't own it anymore. Still love it.
Yeah.
But this shoots very similarly, and so I would say on that, just that fact alone, I like the way this gun shoots.
Yeah, and so the P with a red dot cut is going to be $2,400. Okay.
Correct.
So you got a $500 difference here between one gun to the next.
Yeah.
Do I think that you're getting an extra $500 in value in a staccato over that? Truthfully, not really. Potentially the biggest advantage would just be, hey, domestic company.
Domestic and track record, but
Yeah. But in terms of like my experience, having owned guns from both companies, truthfully, they perform very much the same. Like they really do. So I think you have to look at it and you go, okay, if I'm getting into 2011s, do you care about the extra $500? If you do, if you're like, hey, this is a stretch for me, like I'm saving up for this,
yeah,
I would say, hey, look, I think you got your answer here.
Yeah.
If you're like, I don't give a shit about the money, in that case, buy what you want.
Sure.
I actually don't really think there's a right or wrong answer there. To
I
me,
agree.
it's like, buy whichever. Like, I mean, I've had, so the other competitor, I would say loosely, the other competitor would be the Springfield Prodigy, right? The new one.
I would say that's not a competitor at all, but that's my opinion.
I get what you're saying. I would say it's a competitor in the sense that like it is an entry level 2011, okay? I would tell you this, that said, I would 100% take this over a Prodigy.
That's a better entry level 2011 than the Prodigy.
Not debatable.
No.
Like truly not debatable in my opinion.
Yep.
So, and just so you guys know, yes, we have tried to review a Prodigy. At some point, we will probably finally agree to take in a loaner gun from someone, but we wanted Springfield to cooperate. And,
they won't play.
Yeah,
so
it's not going to happen.
It's a bummer for us and for them. And
yeah.
You know.
So anyway, but yeah, a Springfield Prodigy is at $1,500 versus this being a 19. I mean, like non-debate at that point.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
You got to take this.
I agree.
So anyway, I mean, price-wise, it's sitting between the Prodigy and the Staccato. I think it's priced very well, very competitively, with probably a little bit of like, they probably could have gone a little bit higher, but they probably didn't want to compete against the American giant known as Staccato.
Sure.
So I think they probably kept that price in that range on purpose, and I think it was a smart move.
Sure.
No malfunctions on the gun. It's cold out here, so the guns are running a little sluggish today. All the guns have like needed like a handful of rounds just to like get a little warm.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's just fucking cold, guys. But that's that. I mean, I would tell you this. I would 100% buy this with my own money.
Cool.
I would be completely comfortable telling everyone like, look, I would spend my own money on that gun. I do think it's a great. Sometimes you need, you know. I like some Gucci guns. I'm not above admitting that.
Sure.
I like some of the finer 2011s. But sometimes you like having that gun where it's like, look, it's just a good gun and it works and it's not the most expensive gun and it gets a little beaten up. Who cares?
But it runs and it's reliable and we like to shoot
But it does everything that I needed
Sure.
to do, and it does it all well. And you go, hey, I think this beautifully fits into that category. Or for someone that's looking to get into 2011s, but you're like, look, I don't know if I want to go like $5,000 deep right away,
Sure.
which I would tell you I don't think you should. I think you should start at a place that's more palatable to learn the platform, see if you enjoy it, and then you can nerd out from there. Or just get more into it. I don't know why I would consider you
Or if you
nerding
want to go
out
straight
on
to 5K, then you do you, homie.
You do you. At the end of the day, I don't care what you do. It's your money. It's your stimulus check. You spend it however you want.
I forgot about those.
Yeah, right? Remember that day? But anyway, so that's about it. Comment any questions that you've got. Subscribe to the channel while you're here. That'd be great. But yeah, let me know any questions you got, if there's anything that I missed, and happy to chime in the questions. And then we've got our final thank you for the day.
Yeah, FOP, Firearms Legal Protection. They are a channel sponsor and they provide a concealed carry insurance program, or membership, if you will, several different tiers that cover you in any legally justified, legally owned self-defense tool, self-defense scenario.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
That could include a tomahawk.
Sure.
Mel Gibson, the Patriot.
Yeah, done.
He was threatened.
Yeah.
He was threatened. They burned his house. They murked his kid.
Fair point. There you go. See, justified.
So in that case, I think they would back me up. This is not legal advice. Consult an attorney or someone
Correct.
smarter, anyone smarter than us. But like Mel Gibson, again, throws the tomahawk, murks a dude. I'm pretty sure they would have covered that. And the thing is, one of the plans, the mid-tier plan, that's like $20 a month, they would have paid the crime
scene cleanup guy
to clean that dude.
Fair point.
That Brit, that stupid Brit.
Yeah.
Coming to our land? You coming to our land?
Yep.
No, not today. Not today, guys. So anyway, the code, what's the damn code for that? It's just 1911. But it saves you a bunch of money on the service and stuff, and they got a few different tiers. And you should check it out. They're cool dudes, they're gun dudes, you would like them, and they like you. So there's that.
If you carry a gun for self-defense, you should probably have insurance. Just like if you drive a car, you should probably have car insurance.
Yep. So anyway, guys, that's the Bul Armory Tac Commander. Solid gun. Total recommend. Go get it.
Take care.